Welcome back to the Masters Disc Golf World Championships in Flagstaff, Arizona. This is a PDGA Major presented by MVP Disc. Coverage brought to you by Ace Run Pro. I'm Jennifer Allen.
And I'm Holly Finley, and we will be competing today at the Little America Crew Course. And after the front nine, Ohn at 25 under, myself at 22 under, Jennifer Allen at 15 under, and Stephanie Vincent at 13 under par.
Here we are, hole number 10. This is 337 feet, par 3. Definitely a hyzer route to this basket that's kind of tucked just slightly off to the left here. Find your gap, pick it, try to get up there as close as you can. I think the biggest mistake here is releasing late. Getting caught up on that right side is pretty difficult to get back up and save par. Anything that hyzers off to the left, you might have a look.
Ohn Scoggins up first.
Going backhand, probably destroyer, I would guess. Get some good hyzer and a little bit of a hop up towards the basket, about pin high.
And I was going for the main gap on the right side, but also missed my line similar to Ohn. I give myself about a 55-footer for birdie.
Yeah, again, anything that can just keep hyzering off to the left, you're going to have a look. I liked my route, but it kind of held a little straighter. I'm going with my T-bird there.
Looks like you made it to about 45 feet from the basket. Stephanie pulls hers a bit wide, gets caught up, and she's about halfway there.
Almost makes it all the way through that little bit of a pine tree. We've talked about her short game being so great, and you can see that nice touch. I feel like she plays catch. It looks like a catch throw, which is an awesome thing to learn and practice to have a good short game. And this is, again, about 45, 50 feet. And I might have called that. I'm not going to, take credit for that huge birdie putt. But you could tell right out of your hand that was a beautiful release. I just didn't know if it was going to stay.
Bonus. Ohn Scoggins for birdie. She sends it a little right side.
Again, we have mentioned a few times solid lava rocks out here on the Little America Crew Course. So jump putts are a little scary. Both of us kind of just not hyzering out, not going, we're laying it on the right side of that basket.
Don't think about it. Don't think about it.
I had a couple big rocks right in front of me on my landing zone.
Stephanie makes good for her par.
Such a great save.
Solid scramble. Ohn is in for par as well.
And typically I don't feel like you're really losing too many strokes with a par on this one. I bet the stats, I didn't really look, but I'm sure there wasn't too many birdies.
We don't have any U-Disc stats.
I know. That makes you sad.
I miss them. Let's check out hole 11. Another shorty. I love this hole. A par 3, 178 feet. The main gap is the one that the drone is flying through. Just like to land slightly left of the basket. Hopefully you can crash into those rocks around the basket and trickle right in there for a drop in. Oftentimes you might get a bit of a roll away if you hit incorrectly, but it's a very rewarding gap hit.
Mako or Mirage?
Mako.
Beautiful. Again, like Holly said, just going right at the basket and hoping to get the bounce, and she does. Ohn going Halo Destroyer forehand here on the left side gap. Gets a good turn. Catches one last tree that was working itself towards the basket. She's still going to have a look. I go standstill Mako, trying to take the higher flex. And typically that hyzer's out. I have never, ever seen it fly that far. I'm not. I threw that so soft. It blew my mind that it went that far.
If you watch the front nine, Jennifer mentioned her son grilled some steak last night, and she said that's the reason she's got some extra juice
blame
today.
him for all these long throws.
Scoggins for birdie. She sends it up.
Oh, that was good
off the
then.
top. That was such a long attempt. And tricky angle, too, to hyzer around that tree
Talk
and hit
about
the basket.
tricky angles. Look at this one.
What is going on over here?
I had to go straight up to the sky. I have a huge dead branch right there, so I have a very tiny gap to hit, stretched out leg straight. I was super excited about hitting that gap.
Stephanie for birdie after rolling down to that position.
Oh, beautiful
wait,
putt.
par. I thought that was her birdie putt.
I think it was.
And this is your par save.
Yeah, and I have a weird squat that I have to get. And I was very proud of myself for going really strong at that. I had great intentions of that just bouncing off the pole. Unfortunately, that kicks me all the way down the hill, and I'm just a little low on that big, steep uphill putt. So that was a very unfortunate double bogey after a great start. Holly chaining out on the right side of the basket there and almost falling down the hill with these rocks. Good save.
Ohn's in for par.
That's another good save in a different manner.
Yeah, I know, it's weird.
So like I mentioned, I'm going to be tapping out my double bogey. So that erases a few of those great birdies on the front nine. Holly in for the par.
Imagine, your favorite disc is unreachable. How will you recover? Have no fear. Introducing the ARM Augmented Reaching Mechanism. Providing players with over 21 feet of reach, users will face no challenge retrieving trapped discs in nearly any scenario. For further flexibility, the ARM comes with two grabbing devices, the pivotable rectangle and the double claw. Go to your local retailer and ask for the ARM today.
Here we are at hole number 12. This is another hole that does have the OB road there on the right side. So at 270 feet, you have to decide if you're going to risk going OB hyzer route the entire way, or you can take the safer route. They're either straight at it or even trying to hyzer off to the left will get you a look at the basket. When we're playing for fun, I always throw over the road, but a little riskier in a tournament because you can get that kickoff hyzering and get the kick back to the right. Stephanie takes a beautiful straight line at the basket. She's going to be probably about circle's edge there. These whiskers are yellow. They're very, very hard to see. Holly going hyzer, wanting to get the skip at the basket, and does off the pine needles.
And a little extra roll to boot.
Little nice roll there. So a nice open look. Ongoing forehand.
It's looking low.
She has that huge flex, and I think it's caught her a few times here in Flagstaff because of the wind and the rocks. I'm going leopard 3.
Ooh. Ooh.
I loved my line, and I cannot figure out why they're flying so far. So I am about 55 long again.
We're gonna blame the steak again.
Yeah, I'm not eating steak again.
Ohn sends it up there, almost gets it in, but she'll have a drop-in par. Stephanie Vincent for birdie from 50 feet.
Good bid, just a little right.
We saw Stephanie can some long jumpers coming down the stretch yesterday.
So I have this little skinny pine in my way, but I was happy with that look.
In for birdie on the 12th. Happy to make that one go in after going out on the right side on the previous hole. Stephanie makes good for par.
Stephanie talking about the temps. We are really getting up there today, feeling warm out here.
I think another funny thing is after your disc sits in the sun for just a minute or 2 or 3, oftentimes it's so hot you can hardly touch it.
Yeah, I found that even on hole 2 with my black rock.
Let's check out Hole 13, a 252-foot par 3 uphill. Wow, this is another fun hole. Getting all the way to the basket at basket height can be quite tricky because you've got a low ceiling as well. So just statistically, I like aiming towards the middle of the hill. You don't have to worry about the canopy. Hopefully landing somewhere around circle 1 to give yourself a birdie look. Jennifer says she sent it basket height, but you've made it all the way to the top of the hill.
I have one time been able to go past the basket, and then you almost don't even want to putt it back because it's such a death putt. Holly getting 2/3 of the way up there. She's still going to have a look at it. Stephanie going right at it as well. Good height, nice and clean.
She hits the main gap, and she's got a 35-foot birdie look.
I'm going backhand destroyer hyzer route at it, and unfortunately gets caught up there on the right side.
She's
kick to the middle.
Halfway there. And this is the disc you said you birdied with.
I did. So going TL, but I was cautiously going a little bit lower. Get a little bit of a hop up there, so I'm going to have a good look at birdie.
Ohn takes her rock 3 and sends it up there, and it trickles down a bit, but that's a 20-foot putt for par. And I decide I don't like the look or the risk of this putt, so I just loft it up there, and I'm going to settle for par as well.
I've definitely seen several rollaways on this hole, so have to commit at anything you're doing.
Vincent for birdie.
Soft little hyzer, such a beautiful bid.
I loved the courage on that because I didn't have it to do it myself.
And I thought I had the height, and it just drops right in front.
That looked very similar to your uphill putt on
Yeah,
one of the other
it felt
shorties.
really clean. I thought I had it. Really wanted it.
Ohn made good for her par putt.
Yeah, this is another one that does not play to the distance. And I had sap. I don't know which disc I had it on, but I am trying to clean sap off. I think it's on my putters now. It's definitely on my hands. So that's something you occasionally find when you're playing in all these beautiful pine trees.
Water doesn't work that well either.
Not great.
I got it on my shorts in practice. Oh. From sitting on random rocks, I think.
Mm-hmm. Bumping up against a tree. Hole 14, this one's straight ahead, 237 feet, par 3. Have to keep the low line because you have lots of little pine branches hanging down, but you also have a lot of rock that you cannot plan on any kind of skip up towards the basket. So even though it's 237 feet, I find that this is a pretty tricky basket to get to. If you do hit it clean, you do risk going long pretty easily as well.
The wind was shifty. I couldn't decide between my understable or overstable disc, and I misfired it a bit.
You know, it's funny. I think a lot of us could kind of guess what we're throwing here because you don't change disc too often. And I have heard many people say that all week at all the courses in town.
Stephanie's up there for birdie, and Ohn with this standstill flex shot. Look at this thing of beauty.
That had a beautiful little air bounce. Puts her right up at the basket.
Yeah,
She took that a lot higher than the first time that she played this. I'm going with the new Con, and I just catch up on that one little branch. I think that's a fun disc to throw on this hole because, again, 237, I think you can reach it with a putter pretty easy. That has a good look. Just comes up a hair short. A lot of awkward stances out here. You were put up in the rocks and up against a tree. I have a little more opening. Again, scary jump putts out here with the lava rocks. But I'm able to get it. I think I ranged that about 125 feet. So that's about my edge of a jump putt. But
And pray. Small prayers.
yeah, no one wants to blow out an ankle out here. There has been a few injuries at some of these courses because of the rock, so definitely be careful. Stephanie with a beautiful look at the basket, chains out on the right side.
I'm looking to save par here.
Wind picking up just a little bit. That's going to be a misfire. And was the comeback a little longer?
It was. Longer than the original.
So now you have a tailwind. And that's going to bounce off the left side rim. So after a couple of good holes, that's an unfortunate look for Holly. Stephanie's going to tap out her par. And the birdies are kind of easy to get, but man, so are the bogeys. So you can have a good round going and then all of a sudden you erase a few of those. Owen's going to tap in that beautiful drive for birdie. And unfortunately for Holly, that's going to be a double bogey. So erasing a few of those good holes, and we're going to move over to the 15th.
15, a par 3, 258 feet. You've got this route that the drone is flying. I like to keep a low shot under the branches, hoping for a flare skip. Disc needs to start moving left right in front of this tree here, getting you up into circle 1. I've also seen some success with a forehand here.
This is one of the holes I feel like you have to put a lot of power on the disc to hit the line, but hitting it clean, you can find yourself long. Luckily, there is no OB behind the basket.
Ohn is about 8 feet away for birdie.
That's 2 back-to-back beautiful drives by Ohn. Let's see if Stephanie can sneak up there, and she does.
20-foot look for birdie.
So I'm going that same low hyzer route, a little more power on it, and gets an unfortunate kick. Holly taking the hyzer route as well. Nice low and huge flare skip. So that's going to be about circle's edge. I was really trying to decide which way I wanted to go. The hyzer route was open, but I knew I needed to low punch it strong, so was not committed on that putt at all.
Stephanie Vincent for birdie.
Ooh,
Oh, that should
bounce
have been
off the
in.
right side chain.
Should have been in. The basket looks level. Fortunately, she'll have a drop-in par. And I'm looking at a birdie putt.
Little misfire on the left side. So I'm about probably 20 feet as well.
To save par.
Yeah, wind picking up, headwind. I thought it was going to lift it. I gave it a little bit of a loft. Can't trust that wind out here at all. Holly solid right on the pole. See, I thought, look at that huge
Look at the
headwind.
flag.
I know, I thought it was going to lift.
It really is different from one person's putt to the next.
Yeah,
Ohn
yeah.
said we made her scared. The wind was scary, but she's in for birdie.
I told her that we were trying to trick her like that. We sacrificed a few bogeys to scare her. All our wonderful caddies out here who definitely help in this heat.
Doing the work.
Yeah, hole 16. We have 375 feet. This is a pretty tricky par 3. You want to get all the way through this open area here and try to sneak in, either hyzering over here on the left side or trying to get over those small little pine trees that are growing up to protect the basket. This is a pretty heavily guarded basket. 3 trees there in the front that make it very difficult to either hyzer through or throw the turnover at where about most of us land. Ohn going destroyer, gets a great turn. That's a beautiful line I'd love to hit.
Vincent up second on the box.
She's going a little bit lower, not going over the trees like Ohn does, but hopefully she can get a good skip. Not much. There's a lot of pine needles and chopped up wood chips on this hole, so you can sometimes really get a good skip. Holly just driving it right at him and catches the rock, so no skip for Holly.
No skip for me. And I'm always curious if you can get to the basket if you go. If you would have sent that over that
I did.
shorter tree, you could get there.
Yeah, so I'm okay with this hyzer route. I've done that quite a few times as well, but I can reach the basket if I get a good turnover. I've been mad at myself this week for really trying to get too fancy with those turnovers, and it costed me. So the hyzer route's pretty safe.
Ohn had a bit of a patent pending turnover with her rock.
Ooh, beautiful roll up to the basket for Stephanie.
Yeah, she gets caught up short.
How far are we here, Holly?
I'm going to say 90 feet. I measured out to the front of circle 3.
So nice opening. Couple of trees on the left, one on the right. Wind in your face. And jumper in the basket. Take that.
No jump. I don't jump.
Well, your putter did. Your putter
That was a
jumped.
bonus. That was a bonus.
And you had a few little skips up there.
It ricocheted off the tree. I had to hug the tree.
Yeah,
you know?
barely. And then just jumped on in there. That was a beautiful birdie. I'm going to go ahead and safely say the only one on the day on this hole. I had nothing, so I'm just playing it onto the left side of the basket, not trying to do anything fancy.
Ohn almost gets her par putt to fall.
Yeah, it's really tricky depending on where you land on this hole.
Drop in bogey for Ohn here on the 16th. And Jen has about a 10-foot par putt. It's in.
Back putt. That's called fatigue.
I don't need to set this down
Nope.
and pick it up again.
Nope.
Here we are on hole 17, a 225-foot par 3, but not easily accessible. 2 routes, as with many of the holes out here. Four-handed players will have easily an accessible route here on the left side, as well as a nice backhand turnover shot. Personally, I like the right-handed hyzer route, even a spike hyzer or a low flare skip.
Yeah, you have to just get lucky skipping in on this right side. Like Holly said, high or low, just commit to it and try to get a lot of angle to get back to the left side. Sometimes the wind is tricky. You can get a huge lift as well as you can get smashed down trying that hyzer route. We actually had a little bit of right to left at the moment, which is strange. I'm going my Mako 3. I thought it was beautiful. It looked like it bounced off something. We could not figure out how it carried.
It looked like it was going to ace, and then it went like, whoosh.
I see a trend here, Jen. I see a trend.
I was definitely ace hunting today. I'm not going to lie.
Ohn up there again within 15 feet looking at birdie.
I would see something almost next to the box.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out because it definitely looked, I was just dropping that. It wasn't supposed to carry. Unfortunately, here we are again, 50 feet long.
This is a nice setup, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's beautiful. Nothing look. Little turnover here. Awkward stance. Punching it through.
If you wouldn't have hit that limb, it's likely it could have went in.
Probably would have hit low. I was definitely not going for it.
It looked good, though. Stephanie Vincent for birdie.
And she does have an open look at it, but unfortunately just hyzering out to the left side, released a little bit early.
And the wind was shifting on me.
Yeah, because we typically get a highway wind and it's going left to right on these holes, finishing holes, but it was swirling everywhere here. Stephanie, great putt for par.
Ohn picks up another birdie here on the 17th, putting her at 3 under for the round.
And these are a lot of good drives by Ohn. Typically we see huge putts, but she's had some very short birdies here this round. Almost done. Hang with us. One more hole.
I just think the plastic is very premium.
I think it's the quality of plastic.
It's unlike any other plastic that you'll find in the industry.
It's something I can consistently trust.
You're gonna wanna put multiple discs in your bag.
You can only say so much where they have to eventually just try it themselves and see.
Hole 18, this is our long one to wrap up here at the crew course, 605 feet. It is a par 4, so you're gonna just rip it out there as far as you can. Hopefully it's a wind that will carry you. up to where you can have a nice, easy approach at this basket that's pretty guarded with all the trees here on the hill. The difficulty, I think, on this hole is where your disc lands for footing. It kind of looks like grass. I'm going to tell you this is not grass. Very sticky little bushes.
Thick.
Yep. It's sometimes
almost like green sticks.
Yeah, and it's really hard to sometimes find your disc. It looks like it's wide open, but
Ohn pulls her shot over to the right and says, well, I've never been there before. But since it's wide open, you can't really go wrong in your tee shot here.
No, I do feel that if you go on the right side, you do have a cleaner approach at the basket. That's where the opening is. Mm-hmm. But I think even if you did hyzer off left, you could still hyzer the approach in. So
Stephanie gets a hold of one.
Yeah, that had some nice carry. She'll probably have about 250, 300 feet to the basket, you think?
What do you got here?
I'm going with my daughter's Starlight Turn. Loving the big distance shots. We had a great wind to carry this.
Look at this.
I want to get myself about 200 feet from the basket.
Oh, he dropped something.
He threw my phone out of the bag. So we did have someone in the gallery pick it up for me. I would have noticed real quick when my music stopped.
Ohn with a beautiful shot coming right into the green, and she's up there on the dirt hill looking at birdie.
Lost it there for a second, these white discs.
That's such a perfect positioning.
Yeah, we were giving her a little bit of a razz there because she said that I was the only one that could reach this hole for birdie.
She actually said that right before we teed off.
I think she likes to do
now
that.
She's up
I think
there
she
putting
tries
for
to
birdie.
mind trick us. Own's a worker.
I mean, the hole's only 605. All
Right.
of us can throw 300 feet, so
Exactly.
technically we should be up there dropping in a birdie.
Yes, I agree. And I agree because I'm throwing a putter for my approach. So I know that you guys can get a driver up there. So it depends on the wind. If it lifts it, if it smashes it, if you're accurate. So again, going with the brand new Con, I absolutely love this approach. I was able to hit the koozie yesterday. So my goal is to throw it in before I leave. I want the 2 on this one. Is that greedy?
No.
Okay.
Stephanie Vincent with a long birdie look to finish out.
And I could just feel the fatigue from Stephanie this whole round. So hopefully she gets some good sleep and handles the heat tomorrow.
And I've got a little limb in the way, but I decide I'm going to give it a bid.
Yeah, you never know if you can just bounce past those or if they're just made of steel. But that's going to be a little soft on the left side, but right there to save par.
Ohn Scoggins for birdie, and she's in after saying she can't.
Looking around at all the fans there, thinking our gallery. So I unfortunately bounced to where I really don't have a great stance. I'm over there in the rocks and the bushes, but able to get that birdie in. Probably about 18 feet or so. Taking her time, gets a good par to finish. So a little up and down for everyone. We had a lot of birdies, but unfortunately we also had some ugly bogeys and double bogeys. So Ohn is going to finish at 4 under for the round. Holly Finley at 2. Stephanie Vincent at 1 over and myself at 2 under. That's our look for the results of the final round of round number 4.
We will be back tomorrow at the Little America Crew Course for the semis. Shotgun start at 8 a.m. Take a look at this top 10 leaderboard. You will see our 8 women making it into the semis. We look forward to hanging out with you tomorrow.